Browns fans, welcome to the UK. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, then please do me a favour and hit that subscribe button. So we've known for a couple of months now that the Cleveland Browns will be one of the home teams for the NFL London games this year in the 2025 season. Obviously, as a UK-based Cleveland Browns fan, was massive news for me at the time, massive news for all of the UK Browns fans over here. You know, people are surprised by how big the support is here. You know, we're not the most followed team, but there are certainly a lot of Cleveland Browns fans in the UK. And, you know, as soon as this news was announced, we're all excited for it and can't wait to show, you know, not just Browns fans over in the States, but NFL fans as a whole, you know, just how well supported the Browns are, you know, across the pond and, you know, globally as well. You know, everyone calls the Cowboys the America's team. I call the Browns the world's team. Truly believe that. And, you know, of course, can't wait to, you know, show that in London in this season. But, you know, as I said, we've known for a couple months that the Browns were going to play in London. We've not known who the team was going to be. There's always, you know, rumours, leaks and all of this stuff. There's been some rumours that maybe the Browns were going to play twice, similar to the Jags have, and they will get, you know, play as the home team and then the away team for another game. That is not the case, but the Browns will be playing the Minnesota Vikings. It will be week 5, Sunday, October the 5th, and it's a 9:30 a.m. Start for those over in Cleveland. So, you know, I was going to say that people can enjoy the game with their coffee, but I'm sure many Browns fans will still be enjoying the game whilst cracking open a few beers, and rightfully so. But of course, a really early start over for a football game over there in Cleveland. But, you know, for us, that will be, I'm pretty sure the time difference doesn't change again by that point. So I think that will be 2:30 here in the UK, 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's going to be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I've said, you know, when this news initially came out, you know, yes, being at Wembley means you get more tickets, because there's more seats. But the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as a whole is a much better stadium, in my opinion. It's more modern. It's a lot more, you know, it was built way more recently than Wembley was. It's got way more modern facilities. Just you wait till you see the bar if you are going. It's pretty cool. And Wembley, you know, I've been to Wembley. I've not been to the Spurs Stadium, but I know people that have, and of course I've seen all the pictures and videos inside. But I have been to Wembley, and I do truly believe that the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is a better stadium and a better fan experience. So, you know, I was happy that it's at the Spurs Stadium, and that is where it will be played. So the game itself, I'll quickly just touch on, I suppose. It's the Vikings. Maybe we would have wanted an opponent we thought we'd have had more chance of winning against. The Vikings are arguably one of the tougher opponents on next year's schedule. Of course, went 14-3 this past year with Sam Darnold. He's no longer there, but in terms of everywhere else, I think they've only gotten better with the additions they've made this off-season. A defense that was incredible last year. They've just added even more talent to that defense, and, you know, you could expect that to get even better than it was last year, which, if is the case, would be terrifying. And, you know, you do expect this to be a good team. Of course, it comes down to JJ McCarthy. Sam Darnold's out, JJ McCarthy's in. Would Sam Darnold have even played the whole season last year if JJ McCarthy didn't get hurt? I expect the plan wasn't for that to be the case. So they obviously believe in JJ McCarthy enough for them to then let go of Sam Darnold after the great season he had. So we'll see what he can do. You never know. Maybe by week 5, JJ McCarthy's been benched and someone else is in there. You know, I said it's a tough opponent. You know, the bookies and all of the odds are going to be certainly in the favour for the Vikings, but you never know in the NFL. By week 5, who knows? Maybe Shadur Sanders is starting for the Browns and looks really good. Maybe it's Dylan Gabriel. Maybe it's Kenny Pickett. As I said, maybe JJ McCarthy's been benched. You just never know. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is a definite loss, chalk that up. It's the NFL. But there are, you know, this was the same opponent as the Browns faced in 2017. So you can see why, if you've, you know, some fans are annoyed about this. Those that were there in 2017, of course, you would hope for a different opponent. You want to see a new and another NFL team. We don't get much chance to see NFL teams here in the UK. We get a few games every year, so it's quite limited in terms of the amount of teams that come over here. I mean, who wants to watch the Jags? And they're always here, so that, you know what I mean. It's quite rare to get to see your favourite team unless you are a fan of one of those teams, as I said, like the Jags. So to then get the same opponent can be a bit annoying, because you were probably hoping to see some other NFL teams that weren't the Vikings, as I said, the same opponent. But for me, I wasn't there in 2017, so it doesn't really bother me too much. As I said, I expect the Vikings to be a pretty good team next year. So it's going to be awesome to see those guys out there like Jefferson, like Addison, and that amazing defense. And win or lose, just to get to see NFL football here in London is awesome anyway. But of course, hopefully the Browns do win. But as I said, I'm not going to go too much into the game. We'll talk more about that as it leads up to it during the season. In terms of the day, obviously the London games, it's pretty hard to get tickets. There are of course limited capacity. As I mentioned, the Wembley's got more seats. I think the Spurs stadium's got around 50 to 60,000. So you've got a lot more fans trying to get tickets than the amount of seats that are available. The tickets usually go live around June, July, so they won't be available until then. But you can always, there's always avenues to try and increase your chances of getting those tickets. You can register your interest and all of that stuff. So, just go into Google, whack in Cleveland Browns London games, and you'll be able to find the ways that you can do that. And as I said, register your interest and all of that stuff. But I'm sure most of you know the score when it comes to getting tickets like this. If it's a sporting event or a concert or whatever, on the phone, ready for it as soon as it goes live, ready to refresh and all of that stuff. Make sure you got good internet connection and everything. Just do everything you can to try and get the tickets. If you can't get them, there are of course other avenues afterwards. People that, you never know, someone might buy the ticket and then their brother decides to get married on that day and they can't make it. They're going to resell that ticket. There's, of course, resales and stuff like that. Brown season ticket holders, I'm pretty sure, get access to this game as well. So, if you're someone over there in the States and, someone or you yourself has a season ticket, I'm pretty sure you're able to get a ticket with that. But if you're someone that's not, as I said, maybe someone, you could ask them, and if they're not going, you could use that. It is difficult, as I said, but hopefully as many Browns fans as possible can get tickets. Hopefully we can get a lot more Browns fans than Vikings fans. I think of course the Vikings are playing in Ireland the week before, which is amazing for Ireland to get their first NFL game. They got an awesome fan base over there, so really, really happy for them to finally, well deservedly so, get an NFL game. And the Vikings are actually playing in that game. They're the first NFL team to play back-to-back international games in different countries. So the Jags have obviously done it here in London, but that's the same country. They are the first to do it in different countries. Which I forgot to mention. I said I wasn't going to go much more into the game, but I will just briefly mention, of course, this is slightly annoying because the Vikings will have an extra week to, get used to the jet lag and all of that stuff, adjust to the, everything that goes to, coming over here all the way from the States and, getting, just training in a different environment and all of that stuff. It is an adjustment. So they're going to get an extra week to basically prepare for that, which is a little bit annoying. But the Browns will just have to try and get over as early as they can after week 4. Get over to London, try and as I said, adjust as quickly as possible. Best case scenario would be that the Browns get a Thursday night football game on week 4, so they get a few extra days to get themselves over. That would be, of course, as I said, best case scenario. But either way, it would be smarter them to get over as quickly and early as possible. Given the fact that the Vikings are going to have an extra week to basically prepare down here, in this area. So back to the actual, the game itself in terms of the NFL game and what that means. as I said at the start, I'm a UK Browns fan. This is amazing for me. I can't wait for it. I didn't see the game in 2017, so this is my first time watching the Browns in London. Going to be an amazing moment for me, but even more than that, it's going to be an amazing moment for UK Browns fans as a whole. Can't wait to show off to the NFL world the UK Browns fan base, and of course cannot wait to welcome as many Browns fans coming over from across the pond. Want to try and meet as many of you guys as possible. Any of my subscribers, if you are making the trip over from the States, make sure you let me know, and we'll definitely get something sorted and make sure we can have either a beer or a lemonade, whatever the weapon of choice is, and enjoy some Cleveland Browns football here in London. That's what it's all about. As I said, the Cleveland Browns fandom is pretty strong over here in the UK and even across the globe as a whole. So it's always amazing to connect with all the different Browns fans across the world and hear their stories, how they became Browns fans and all of that stuff, and really looking forward to it. So obviously can't wait, and hopefully we get a good game, but even if not, it's going to be an amazing day out for everyone, everyone involved in the UK Browns community, and everyone involved with the Browns community as a whole as well. But didn't want to go too much into it, just give my quick thoughts on it. As I said, I will give any updates on tickets and stuff like that. Anything I know, I'll make sure that I'll let you guys know as well. And hopefully as many of us can get tickets. And as I said, any of you guys planning on coming over, make sure you let me know, and we can make this a really good game and a really good day out for all Browns fans across the globe, no matter where they're coming from. But that will do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy my content, then please drop this video a like, hit the subscribe button. It's free, but it really helps out my channel. You can also check the links in the description to see where you can follow and interact with me on social media. As I always say, I'm trying to build a community of Cleveland Browns fans, and even if that means I only get to talk to one fan a day, I'm happy because I'm talking Browns football with the best fan base in the world. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have an amazing week. Hope to see as many of you in London for the Week 5 game, but most importantly, go Browns.